Whenever I visit an art exhibition, I have a confession to make. I tend to leave with a camera full of photos of the sitters' clothes rather than their faces. Throughout history, portrait artists have masterfully captured the swishing silks and bejewelled details of the fashions of their age. The clothes are, for me, the real stars of the show. So when Tate Britain announced that the exhibition Sargent and Fashion was coming over from the States, I was thrilled. An exhibition that finally puts the clothes centre stage in the art gallery. I was even invited for an early sneak peek at the press view, but my visit brought up a lot of thoughts. It revealed an answer to the question that has bothered me for years. Why does the art world seem to have such a big problem with fashion? The first and most obvious problem is that many art critics just don't like fashion. One particularly savage review of the Sargent exhibition described it as canvases crowded by old clothes and a surfeit of sweetness. This idea that clothing is frivolous, unimportant, and nothing more than old clothes is unfortunately still incredibly prevalent in the art world. Now, to its credit, Sargent and Fashion did try to push back against this rather antiquated attitude. The exhibition's core argument is that Sargent's genius was his mastery of fashion. His skill with the paintbrush also required immense skill with fabrics, needles and pins. And the people he painted knew this. These were not passive mannequins, they were fashion-savvy men and women who understood the intense image-making power of their clothing choices. As one writer noted in 1878, high society women were starting to ask of a new gown, will it paint? Fashion and art were completely intertwined. So, if the exhibition celebrated fashion this much, where did it go wrong and why did it not solve this problem? Well, while Sargent's work as an artist and a stylist is everywhere in this exhibition, the makers of the fashion items themselves are almost completely invisible. The clothes are presented as props and tools for Sargent's genius, rather than as works of art in and of themselves. So many of the incredible historic garments and accessories that were displayed throughout the exhibition are credited simply to maker unknown. Sargent's expertise is amplified, but there is almost no acknowledgement of the ingenious skill of the anonymous makers of the clothes that he painted. For the most part, the exhibition is silent on the hands that cut, pinned and stitched these glorious concoctions. There is one short panel on the famous designer Charles Frederick Worth, but that is about it. There was one exception to this rule of anonymity, the portrait of Adele Meyer. Painted by Sargent in 1896, Meyer was not just a stylish woman of fashion, she was a pioneer of garment workers' rights. Along with Clementina Black, she wrote a groundbreaking investigation into the terrible working conditions in the dressmaking trades, called Makers of Our Clothes, and the curators displayed this book right next to her glittering portrait. But the book is completely cast into the shadows by the enormous painting. Visitors simply didn't stop to look at it. And in that single moment, the exhibition's biggest problem becomes clear. This display serves as a powerful, if accidental, reminder of the very way that the beauty of fashion is used to overshadow the labour of the people who actually make it. So, what does all of this tell us? Well, we have this already pretty understood realisation that Sargent's skill with fashion was fundamental to his success as an artist, as is the case with many successful portrait painters. And that's it. Art exhibitions and galleries struggle with fashion because they can't appreciate it on its own terms. They feel the need to legitimise it through the lens of an established male artistic genius, like John Singer Sargent. They celebrate the painting of the dress, but not the dress itself. They celebrate the artist who styled the dress, but they erase the artist who designed and stitched it. The dress and its maker become props, their genius secondary to the men who hold the paintbrush. And that, ultimately, is a disservice to both. It allows misguided art critics to dismiss the clothes as frivolous, and it robs the makers of their rightful place in art history. So the next time that you're in a gallery, I want you to do something for me. Look past the famous signature in the corner of the painting and pay attention to the unsigned masterpieces, the clothes.